Z across LC with your hosts, Jeff Alsman and Cody Zipman.
Hey, welcome to another edition of the A2Z Across LC podcast. I am Jeff Alsman. Cody Zipman.
I'm back, baby.
Is back. He's right alongside. We tried to get rid of him and couldn't keep him away. So
I got those text messages, 1.3 million views asking where I was.
I know. I got a few of those too, and asking if you were coming back. And I said, absolutely.
I'm back. I'm ready to go.
Well, welcome back.
There's a buzz on campus, my friend.
There's a buzz on campus. And talk about being back now that we are past the Labor Day holiday weekend and into more of a routine. There seems to be a lot more activity, a lot more action on campus in the athletics department, as well as just with lots of events going on. Of course, obviously, students back in their classes now, and things kind of settling in for a full semester here to get us towards the end of the year. But things really kind of ramping up to another level.
Yeah, it's a sprint. I'd say it's a sprint to December.
A sprint to December.
It's a sprint to December. Everything's going on.
And then, you take a little break, and then you sprint from January to the end of May.
A water break.
Water break, yeah.
Then we go.
That's the halftime.
That is the halftime. That is the halftime. Hey, speaking of water.
Yes.
We need to talk about your fishing skills.
Okay.
I get these text messages of picture. What was it? 30 crappie?
I guess I should send some of the pictures in so producer, I always want to call him professor. Producer O can pop them up when you're going to talk about him. You caught me off guard.
You're borderline legend of the lake.
I've never heard that.
I just gave it to you, legend of the lake.
I'm going to have to put that on the side of my boat.
You know what the symbol for legend of the lake is?
I'm afraid to ask. I hope the camera cut part of that out.
So my daughter, we have whatever. She said, "Okay, love you," and then I say, "Lots of love," and she goes, "Love you, Dad," on the way out the door.
On the way out the door.
Yeah.
Such a sweetheart.
Yeah.
And she really knows what it means, and she just thinks you don't. So that's
true. That's true.
Should we talk a little bit about the program today, or should we do some of the?
Let's just cut all that out and go right to our guest. Joking. Get it. Legend of the lake.
So, were you? I didn't mean to interrupt. Were you finished with the whole lake monkey business?
No, I wanted you to talk about like how good you are of a fisherman.
I don't like to do that.
Yeah, but this is the show.
This
is like we work at Lewis and Clark, but we have all these other skills. Some of the guests today that are coming on, we're going to talk about it. So it's right in line with that, and you can tell them about yours because basically it's every other weekend I'm getting a picture of a full truck filled with fish that you caught.
It just seems to be, superficial for me to talk about those skills. If somebody else.
So what you're saying is we should do a podcast, Producer O, from his boat, so then we can talk about his skills.
I think he already nixed that idea from a past podcast.
We can pull it off.
Look, they can see my face now.
Yeah, you're real excited about it.
No, I'm going to go ahead and hard pass on that one, Cody.
Are they waterproof? All the lines? We run all the lines out to the boat?
Yeah, you have to have.
None of this is waterproof.
You have to have hard connection for internet, to be able to do that.
So we have to produce it from the dock, but nobody really knows that. It just looks like we're out.
Yeah, it's all on green screen.
There you go. Oh, even better.
Yeah. Okay, enough of that?
Yeah, go.
Okay. So on the program today, we have Dennis Krieb and also Mike Wizzy Edwards. They are two folks that happen to work out here at Lewis and Clark, but they also have a side interest that they're involved in, and we'll be talking to them about that. And then Matt Clark, who is part of our maintenance department in logistics, is going to be on. He's the logistics supervisor. And
it's my old job.
Yeah, your old job. So you'll be well versed in a lot of questions you can ask.
I think I'm going to ask him, and I don't know if we can get away for this, but we don't have that many viewers or listeners, so we can say your top 5 frustrating things about being the logistics supervisor.
You can ask any question that you like. Whether or not it gets answered is
he says no comment.
Up to Matt. Yes. So anyway, that's what we've got going on the program today. We do want to talk about some of the events that are coming. We've got a
I just got a text.
Yeah, somebody's not coming.
No, John Dunn.
Yes.
Men's soccer 14th ranked.
Oh, they moved up 5
spots.
They
moved up. Rankings came out. Let's go. Is this live news right here?
That is live. Breaking. We need the little thing across the bottom.
Can you do that in post? All right. Hey,
of course, by 14. Then, everybody will know about it.
14. Moving on up. Let's go to number 1. Shout out men's soccer.
That's quite a move. What, they're 3-0 now? Is that right?
Yeah.
So they are came into the preseason poll at 19.
At
now
19.
They're up to 14.
Now 14.
So congratulations to them
club.
and all the hard work that they're doing. And so far, I don't want to say they haven't been tested because I don't want to jinx them, but they have pretty much dominated, I think, in the games that they have played so far.
I think it was Southeastern, the last game that we played. I'm pretty sure it was at school, but that was supposed to be, as John said, that's going to be a proper match. And it was, 5-0?
I love to hear John talk.
I do too.
His
Why don't we have him on here again?
We have had him on here.
No, I mean again for the start of the year.
Oh, we've got
all the coaches.
He's scheduled. We've just got to get it confirmed. He's
moving on up, so
he's probably probably on ESPN now.
That's true.
Yeah,
that's true.
Not to take anything away from the guys who are actually going to be here today. That's
sorry, go back. I'm sorry. Okay, can we cut this for a third time, Producer O?
You're giving Producer O a lot of work today. So let's move on to some of the events that are going to be happening on campus. We have a resource and wellness fair on September 10th here. That'll be in the Commons. And it also has with it this year, a speaker series. So it will last into the early evening on the 10th. And then an event that I'm sure you'll want to be part of for the students on September 12th. It's a tie-dye event. Have you ever done tie-dye? I'm sure you've done tie-dye.
No, never did it.
Never done tie-dye.
Well, we do this every year, so I've set up for it.
But you've never actually tie-dyed anything.
Never. Nope.
Well, you ought to try it. I'd see how you probably make a mess. Maybe not.
I would.
Because then Matt would have to come along and clean it up, probably.
I would, and I hate doing that.
Yeah. So anyway, that's on September 12th, and there's always free food anytime the student activities group gets together and has some sort of event. And then a big event for students and the Student Activities Organization on September 18th, and that's Fall Fest. And then they have a whole bunch of vendors come in, lots of different activities that take place on campus. And I believe that's going to be held on, over in the Grove and the Commons area. It's a big event and takes up a lot of that area. So that's something for all the students to look forward to for sure. Now,
set up for that one too.
You'll probably be in on that. Too.
Yeah, I'll stop at. It's a good event.
Every
year.
You kind of just hang out at a lot of those things where there's free food.
Pop in, get a bite, sign a few autographs, head out. 5-10 minutes.
You charge?
No charge. No. I'm a humble person.
I can tell. All right. So anyway, and like we always say, if there are other events that we don't mention that you'd like to find out about their whereabouts or what time they occur, you can go to events.lc.edu. That'll take you to the public calendar, and you can do a little searching there and find out about all of the events that are taking place on campus right there on the public calendar. Did we cover everything? You ready to go straight to the action now?
We covered everything. I wanted to give one team a shout out because I feel like sometimes they don't get much love because they're always technically on the road, and that's the golf team. They open up on the 9th, I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
So this podcast will cover that. Other than that, 4 teams rolling, Jeff. Soccer, men and women, and the volleyball team.
Don't forget the volleyball team. They really get bitter if you leave them out of the equation.
I know that. But man, they
got a vibe group.
They are, and they got a vibe going. Have you been to that game yet?
I haven't been to the game.
It's a good atmosphere. They're changing culture.
Yes.
They're changing culture.
They are a very positive and exciting group of ladies that are participating there, and they've been pretty successful too here in the early going.
They have. I'm really proud of all those athletes. They're really let's just say it's been a good start to the year.
Fantastic. Yeah. Well, why don't we go ahead and take a break, and when we come back, we'll talk to Dennis and Mike. How's that sound?
I'm ready to go, partner.
I'm waiting.
We are
LC A2Z.
Yo, what up? It's Mike Keith, the proud graduate of Lewis and Clark. I got my start in the radio program that put me on the path to where I am today. We still do radio, but now we're so much more. Podcasting, producing, and editing, not to mention new equipment, studios, courses, and a new name if you want to work in professional media or create better content for the things you love. Do like I did and discover your path at Lewis and Clark Community College. Enroll today at lc.edu.
And welcome back to the A2Z Across LC podcast. I'm Jeff Alsman. Cody Zipman is here as well, and we are joined now in the studio by Dennis Krieb, who is the director of the library here at Lewis and Clark, and also Mike Wizzy Edwards, who is the locksmith and part of the maintenance crew. And they are also not only just united here on campus, but united in another project, and we'll get into that a little bit later and kind of talk about how that all connects. But we want to welcome both you guys to the podcast.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
So who's been here the longest?
I started in 2000. Mike?
2004.
Me.
Oh, so it's close. Okay. I'm going to start with the library only because, the library is an often overlooked but very integral part of a college campus. But many times it's on the back burner. People don't really think about it unless they need a spot to go where there's some peace and quiet and whatnot. And so give us an idea, Dennis, what all happens at the library? What's its overall real purpose on campus? How do you promote it, let students know about it, make it a nice, comfortable place for them?
Yeah, good question. So I've been in libraries a long time, and they've evolved really, mostly over the last 10 years, I'd say they've evolved. So our library, it's sort of a multi-function. Of course, we're there to help students do their research, to make materials available to them, whether it be digital or print. But we do other things in the library. As I was coming over to do the podcast, we're having a craft session right now. So we do makerspace. So if you wanted to do something with modeling with a 3D printer, we do that. We show movies in the library. We have a puzzle table. We have lots of things going on. So it isn't your what you may have thought, may think a library is in terms of just stacks of books and a quiet place. Our library can be quiet, and there's a quiet place, but it's also a place to kind of hang out. Plus, we have food in the library, which we're okay with that too. So I think it's probably one of the coolest places to be on campus outside of the station here. It's really popular with students. So yeah, libraries have evolved, and we're kind of trying to stay on that edge. And it's a good place to be, and I think our students like it.
They're on the edge.
They're on the edge.
You know what else is popular too?
What's that?
Once a week for 90 minutes, 195 athletes love the library.
For study hall. Yes. Well, and that would be the first thought when you think about the library, is that would be a place to go and study. And it certainly still is, but it sounds like it's much more than that now.
Yeah, students like to study in groups. They like collaborative study. They want to hang out, and they like to be in a place that's sort of like their own living room. And we have new furniture there it's kind of loungy furniture, and it's all wired so you can plug your device into it. And the students just hang out. They're eating, they're drinking, they're all kind of around tables, and you can move some of the furniture around. So it's got kind of a coffee house vibe to it, which we really like. So again, it's informal. We try to make it fun. But we also want to make it collaborative because students like to work in groups. And we find that our students like it, Lewis and Clark, for sure.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but I think the library, several libraries around in the district now are all interconnected through, I guess it is a library district. Kind of explain that a little bit. So if you come into our library and you don't find something, there may be something at, say, the Bethalto or the Wood River. I don't even know what all's connected, but one of those libraries where you can get it delivered to here and still get the product that you're searching for, even if it might not be housed right here in the Lewis and Clark Library. Is that still correct?
Yeah, it is. It's called Carly for us. We're academic. We're an academic library, so we're fully with the college libraries throughout the state. It's huge. I mean, there are 35 million books in our catalog.
Wow.
It's the country's third largest.
That's almost as many viewers as we have.
Cody's read
almost.
You've read half of them, man. Cody's read half the books. So it's really an unbelievable organization to be a part of, and we're part of Carly. So if you wanted a book that we didn't happen to have, you can request that book today, and it may be here tomorrow or the day after because there's a courier that runs every day. So, yeah.
So you're connected through the college
Yes.
line, not through the municipal libraries. Okay.
College and the University of Illinois is sort of the flagship library in our group. They're a part of it. U of I has got the third largest library in the country by holdings. So they're very big, and we're a part of that. So, yeah, there's really no reason not to find a book.
Nice.
So do you want to go by Mike or do you want to go by Wizzy? Because
Wizzy.
on campus you're Wizzy, but for the the professionalism in us, we might want to call you Mike. So I will defer to you.
I like how he threw me in us. So I'm just going to call you Mike, the Key Wizard.
Whatever you like, just long enough I'm not called late for lunch or something.
So I want to know. I want to know how you got the nickname because I've never heard that story. I mean, if you want to tell it.
When I was hired, okay, I was a locksmith prior, doing business on the side, and the gentleman who was the locksmith came to me and was like, "Hey, I'm getting ready to retire, and I would like for you to take my position. Are you interested?" Sure. So anyway, after I was hired, not realizing that there were 7 mics working in maintenance. I guess that was a requirement.
That was a requirement, I guess.
Yes. So anyway, several times I've been, standing around with everybody, with contractors. And of course they say, "Hey, Mike," and everybody turns around and looks.
Yeah.
So then they started using last names or a nickname. Well, at the time I had a white van with a purple wizard on it that said Master Key Service. And so anyway, just right off the bat, they just said, "Hey, Wizzy, come here." Okay.
And it's
20 years later.
Stuck for 20 years.
Yes.
Forever, I didn't even know his name when I was hired. I
Yeah.
was like,
It was
who is
Wizzy.
it? It's Wizzy.
Wizzy.
Well, what's his email?
Well, that's what they told
Wizzy
me.
at lc.com.
Is that his email? Is that the email for real?
It should be, but it's not.
No. It's just, I don't think I've ever emailed him, but that's what I was told when I first came here. Is it's Wizzy. So I thought that's an interesting name. So
it stuck.
It stuck. So what's a typical day for the Wizard of Locksmith?
Anywhere from making keys to changing locks to adjusting doors to fixing windows.
Doing a setup.
Everything. Yeah, everything. It just, like what they call it, the roofer's license. Everything underneath the roof, you do it.
So if I were to pull out a key off of my keychain and give you the number on it, you'd be able to tell me what that opens?
Just about.
Yes. Are you serious right now? Should we do this?
I will.
Yes.
Do it. Serious? I was just.
I mean, he probably
really
knows.
Wasn't, and Professor O might be wanting to get. I see he's grabbing for his keys. This could be a real test.
Come on, Wizzy, this is not playing. Let's go.
This is live. Okay, so that's the wrong. Let me get to the right. I have a few, and they're not all work related. Neither are those two. Okay, I will get there in a minute for real. Okay, are you ready?
Yes.
It's 35. I don't know if I should do this though. Yeah. Okay. I got a good one for him too.
Okay. Right off the bat, 35. What you told me right off the bat is a special key.
It is to me.
Well, it's not on our master key system.
Okay.
So it's a 35.
So you made this just for me because I'm special.
Yes.
Okay. That's
of course.
217-1.
You have the very first key.
Oh, I'm gonna.
217 is the cafeteria.
He's right.
Whiz!
Yeah. All right. Okay, producer. Oh, your turn.
Here, I'm going to borrow Dennis's mic.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, you don't have a mic over there. So.
We can get close, right, Dennis? All right, so I got a weird one.
Not that, yeah, really.
I've got a weird one.
Okay.
Okay, not that. I'll just.
No,
Okay. 25 BLK.
25.
now, if it was BLT, I'd know what that was.
Right.
That was the very old AV key that was up in Phobes.
It was.
Yes.
It was. Well, but it's not now.
There's probably 1 or 2 locks left.
Right. That's why I knew I had a special key. So this is, it was for the AV, then it was the old site, our old radio station, and now transmitter building.
Yes.
But there's probably only 2 or 3 of these keys out
That's
there.
it.
Yep.
That's it.
Wiz, have you redone?
Thanks,
okay,
Dennis.
you coming in 20 years, right?
Yes.
You're welcome.
Pretty much every lock around here.
Everything but the library.
Really?
And yes. And we have a new key system. We already purchased the software. We have got quite a few locks, quite a few cylinders, and so probably the first building will be Haskell. And once we go through it, all the other keys you might as well just throw away because it's not going to work.
And you're going to have to redo the whole
campus
again.
So will that be something where you still use the manual key, or will it be a touchpad type key system?
No, it would still be the hard key.
Still be the hard key.
But on the remodels, that's when you'll get your swipe cards or touchpad.
Wow. No retina detector or
not yet.
Fingerprint. Okay,
not yet.
Okay. So the wizard has struck again.
Yeah, he's pretty impressive. But how about to both of you? Okay, you spent time here. Lots changed. How about changed? I don't know. What coolest thing from when you started all the way now?
Coolest thing. I go way back, Cody.
That's why I want to hear this. There's a lot of cool stories here.
I was on the '85 LC Bucks tennis team.
Really?
Bucks.
Where were the tennis courts at that time?
They were actually right where we are, probably right on top of this building.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Really?
And our colors were green and gold.
Green and gold, I do remember.
And we were the first team to go to the national championship in '85.
Wow.
Went to Ocala, Florida. So that's how far back I go. It goes back to 1985.
Did you win?
I got crushed. I think it was 20 minutes and I was off the court. 6-0.
And that was 3 sets. Yeah, go ahead.
The thing, I remember the guy's name who beat me. He was from Tyler, Texas. His name was Rolando Zamora. I don't know why I remember that. And it was 20 minutes and I was done. But it was a lot of fun. But it's changed a lot because it was the Bucks in those days. This building wasn't here, obviously. The dental wasn't here. Right. So the place has changed dramatically. Yeah. So, yeah, a lot of change. I'm an old timer.
Whenever I started going to school down here back in '86, you was able to drive through the tunnel up there by Enrollment.
Yeah.
And
really?
Through Baldwin, yes. And I had an old Ford van, and it was all I could do to go right through there. I mean, without hitting the mirrors, hitting the roof, or anything. It was really cool.
So when you went through the tunnel, what was it? A turnaround in Fountain Court area?
No, you can drive all the way through.
Okay, and then the road just kept on going to the other side?
Well, actually, as you come through the Fogue Circle, you come right up the brick sidewalk, you go right through there, and there was a road that took you all the way around where the Reed Library and Cafe was not there yet, and would take you down through the parking lot by Wade out that way. It was cool. It was neat.
Okay, so then my final question here, and then we'll flip over to the fun part, the outside of LC, the Soulshine Groove. Let's talk about how should we call this? Christmas Day, Christmas Eve of Reed Library Waterfall. Because I know we were all there.
You know, it was probably in the afternoon around 1 or 2, and we were really watching home videos on the computer. It was Christmas Day, and it was in the afternoon, and I forget who.
It's like -27 wind.
I don't know who contacted me. Maybe it was Lori Artis.
Yeah.
And said, to the fact the library's kind of flooding right now.
What'd you think? Like, because we talked about all your books, everything you got in there.
Well, I freaked out a bit because it's like, we have a lot of books in there, and you hate to see that there's going to be water all over your collection. So I came up here and there was no power because the power had been cut. And you had to be careful where you walked. But I came into the library on the second floor, there was water standing, but it was kind of encroaching up to where you walk into the library from the entrance. Yeah, there's a good photo of it there. But you couldn't step on anything because we didn't know what was live on power. It's like you may get yourself electrocuted. So it was all dark. You heard water coming down the walls. And we were just like watching this happen. And but the good part was it happened in the part of the library where it didn't affect the collection.
Yeah.
So we really got lucky there. And sort of the happy ending to this is that the library's been really renovated in a way that's really, really nice. So
that's why I wanted to talk about it.
Yeah.
Because everything you were talking about, I don't think it would have been.
It wouldn't have happened.
Accelerated. Yeah.
And so we had really good support from administration to really get the library. It's all been renovated in a way, and we have new furniture, floor, ceiling tiles, and we got some KD money thanks to you and your support of that, which is key direction money from our strategic plan. So we were able to buy a lot of cool things that we use. The students love. We have power stations where they can charge your devices and all kinds of things. So in a way that was a blessing. We look back now, it's like, it was not very much fun at the time, but where the library stands now, I think we've never been in a better position, honestly, with our staff who are great, got great people. Shout out to Greg, Liz, Julie, and Haley, and we're in good shape. Really
cool. Wizzy, I know our part, right? We just move stuff for weeks. Weeks. Move this here, move that here, move that there. Months.
Your waiters and hip boots.
Yeah. It was a good time.
Walk in like, where do we start?
Yep. He keeps telling us to move a stack from one side, this corner, this corner.
These guys were great, though. I mean, I have nothing but good things to say about everybody. They were so supportive. There was a lot of work that was done, and it was heavy, dirty, sweaty work. And always smiling when they did it.
Minus 27 and sweating.
Minus 27. Yeah, that's pretty bad.
So let's segue to the other reason that you guys are here that a lot of people off campus for sure probably don't know about, and maybe some people on campus don't know, and that is that you guys participate in, I don't know if we want to call it a hobby or it's a second gig type thing, or just something that you just enjoy and kill time with or whatever. But you guys are both members of a band, and we will let you tell us about that. And how did all of that happen?
Well, actually, Brian Schrage, who used to work here, came to me. I always kid with him. I said, "Hey, man, we need to start a band. So one day he came to me and said, "Hey," he says, "Hey, looks, I got this little gal that she works, part-time with us, a student worker," and he says, "I want you to come listen to her." I'm like, okay. And so anyway, went over and listened to her, like, wow, she could sing. And he says, well, I'm going to ask Dennis to play bass, and he says, maybe we can, get, like a dad's band. I'm like, okay, we'll put this together. And so we practiced a little while and got a couple little gigs. A friend of ours got us down at Alton Bell Casino for the chili cook-off, and not knowing that Lindenwood put up a 2-year free scholarship for music and arts, and somebody from here to college nominated her, and so we didn't know it, so we played that gig down there, and then the following Wednesday she got a phone call say, congratulations, you got a 2-year free scholarship. And so anyway, it said, hey, go for it, just education, school, just go, and so anyway, Brian put in an ad on Craigslist, and we had a little gal that answered it, Becky Marshall, and she came in, auditioned, and this big voice from this little bitty gal, I'm kind of like, wow. And it was special. And she started singing, and then pretty soon the hair on my arms just started raising, and I'm like, wow, this girl can sing, she is good. And so she's been singing with us ever since, and I'll tell you what, she's amazing.
And that happened when? How long ago do you say?
It was like in maybe 2019-ish, 20. It was just before COVID. Yeah.
Okay. So do you talked about Dennis plays the bass, and
I play drums.
You play drums. Okay. So do you background vocals, either one of you, or
a little bit?
Well, one time they put a microphone in front of me, like this here.
I know where we're going with this.
Do you remember this story? And I was all excited because I don't sing. So our guitar Brian sings, he does harmonies, and our keyboard person does the harmonies. Mike has a microphone in front of him. He gets to do some harmonies. And then, of course, Becky, our amazing vocalist, she's in front center with the mic. So there was one in front of me one time. This was maybe a year ago. I was all excited. I was like, oh, this is great. I got a microphone. And I'm oohing and on the whole time. Play the whole thing. I looked down and it wasn't plugged in.
Oh, that's good.
So no, I don't.
But he done a great job.
In my own mind, he did a great job.
Do you guys know that the whole time? How do you not start laughing? Like you do a set and he's doing that, and you're just like, dude.
See, sometimes, we're kind of like in a rush to hurry to set up and start.
Sometimes I feel like that's you every time. Like you have so much gear.
Yeah. And trying to just cover everything and then get up there and then, sit down and 1, 2, 3, let's go.
Yeah.
And it's just one of those deals. And It just happened,
So Dennis, you sure they didn't do it on purpose?
Because on purpose, Jeff, honestly.
I think it was a little band humor.
Well, it's bad enough I'm a bass player. I mean, if you talk to our lead guitarist, I could be in the other room playing. No one would even notice I wasn't there. So bass players take all the...
I don't think we've even said the name of the band.
Yeah, that's what I want. You should introduce it like you did at the orientation. Get fired up. You introduce the team. Bring it in.
I don't remember what you're talking about.
Yes, you do.
I really don't. I don't. You mean last week?
Yeah, on Friday. I want you to introduce them. Get their name going.
I don't remember introducing anything.
Well, you yelled out to the crowd,
Okay.
Do I have any volleyball players out there?
Hold on. Well, yeah, but it's hard to do that when I'd have to cut the mic way back. And
that never stops me when I'm yelling.
Ladies and gentlemen, now on stage, the Soulshine Groove.
Yes, Soulshine Groove. I like it. So how?
I probably just blew all the speakers out of the outdoor.
That might be a good thing for us. Tell me about the name.
I think that was Renessa, our first singer, had come up with that name, right? I think that's where it came from.
We had a whole bunch of names written down on paper, and we threw it in a hat. And so anyway, when you pulled it out, there you go. That's what it was.
Yes.
So you vetted the name.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's how it just stuck, and I think it fits the.
It does fit the
vibe of the band is kind of. I would say we're kind of rooted in '70s music. It's kind of where we are, sort of older music. We do play some newer stuff, so I think it kind of fits the vibe of the band pretty well.
Yeah.
So
psychedelic colors.
Yeah.
70 music. Now 70s. We're talking 70s and 80s.
70s. Yeah, that's kind of where we are.
60s.
Yeah.
60s. Yeah.
Some Jefferson Airplane.
I didn't listen nearly as much in the 60s, but I was there.
Yeah. Yes. Yes. How about Woodstock?
I didn't. Yeah. The tail end. More than,
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, when I really started paying attention to music was probably more mid 70s.
Yeah. Okay.
Barry Manilow was my guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. That era.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yep. Smooth. Very smooth.
Very smooth. Ballad. Those are the songs that I want to do a tribute.
Sing it,
show.
Dennis.
Let's see. I write
you've got a Barry Manilow. Oh, I write the songs.
Yes.
One of my favorites. You guys will have to. I'll have to come up on stage sometime when you guys are going to do that one.
Come on up. You can just sing.
I like it.
Up anytime.
We have Jared Hennings comes out from time to time.
Sure.
We get him up on stage. Come on,
Yeah.
Now Jared's got a totally different voice though.
Yes.
He doesn't really have a Barry Manilow voice.
No.
He has more of a Lou Rawls kind of voice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey,
we got a good
Lady
voice.
love.
He's got a good voice. He's got a good voice. But Barry White.
Oh, that's another. Yes, that's another one. Yes.
Good singer though.
Yeah. So what do you guys got coming up? Or you do stay pretty busy? Or?
I think we are almost at 60 gigs this year. I think we're at 60, close to it. It's not too far away if it's not 60. So in the near future, I know we're playing this Saturday night at a place called the Backstage Bar and Patio, which is next to the Wildly Theater, Edwardsville. It's 9 to 1 a.m. Those are tough for me. So it's a late night, and I think the following weekend we're off, and then that takes us to what, the
20th?
The 20th
is the Moose in Edwardsville.
And then we have
the 21st will be in Grafton.
It's at the Grafton Pub.
He must be. Wizzy must be the agent.
The
He's
22nd. The 22nd is Wild Pickens.
Wild Pickens, which is up
great venue.
Yes.
Great
very,
venue.
very good.
Yeah, that was good.
That's a 3-gig weekend.
That's the first time I've ever been there.
So my question is for all 4 of these that you just mentioned: is his mic going to be on or not plugged in?
Since that occurred, Jeff, it hasn't been on.
It hasn't been on since.
They said that he sounds the best that way.
I try that every now and then a year, but somehow you keep popping in.
I know you do. It doesn't work.
So,
You got it right a couple weeks ago, though.
that's true.
That was not
That's a good
here.
point. Well, it's been fascinating to find out about the library, and Mr. Wizard here with the keys is just,
He's on it.
I'm still
He's a
like,
special dude.
I love Fridays and I love Mondays because usually there's nobody here Friday afternoon, and I'll be changing locks. And Monday morning, people come in. Keys don't work. Emails, the phone ringing.
The
it's
work order
great.
system is...
And I'm sitting there, and it's awesome. And they'll come in like, "You have a key for me?" I'm like, "Yeah." I said, "Where was you Friday afternoon at 2:30?" Well, I was home. He says, and here's your key.
Great. Well, guys, thanks for being with us. Continued, and I know you guys play once in a while out here also for different things. So we'll have to check in on that and see what are you going to sing? You going to go up on stage and sing anything?
You've heard I only sing on this podcast.
Oh,
I know.
He does a great Garth Brooks.
Yes, you know me, man. You know me.
Now, I like Garth Brooks too.
Yeah. I'm a big Garth Brooks
Maybe
guy.
we could do a duet.
Really?
You could be the Faith Hill.
Faith Hill, Trisha Yearwood, man.
That's the one I meant.
Come on.
They're all the same.
We could do Tim McGraw and Faith Hill if you want.
Well, Garth Brooks.
It's your love.
It's pretty good.
Where's the cord to unhook his mic?
You got to take us out. You know how to take us out, right? You know how I always say it? Everybody at We Are LC, right? But you two at the same time, we're going to do a countdown. 3, 2, 1, and you got to yell, We Are. Okay, you ready?
Yep.
3, 2, 1.
We are.
LC A2Z.
Yo, what up? It's Mike Keith, the proud graduate of Lewis and Clark Community College. I got my start in broadcasting and now I work all over the country. I discovered my path in media, but I could have been an electrician. Or I could have been a nurse.
Maybe not.
Welcome back to the A2Z Across LC podcast. Jeff Alsman here, Cody Zipman as well. We are joined for this segment in the studio by Matt Clark, who is a member of our Alumni Alley, a feature a segment that we started up during this second season of our podcast, where we find and invite in and talk to different former Lewis and Clark students. Some of them are former athletes. Some of them are just former students out of our different programs, but all of them have a different story to tell about what they're doing now, what they did while they were here, what they enjoyed, kind of just an overview of their experience at Lewis and Clark. And to me, Cody, this is one of our fun, to me, it's a fun segment because every story is totally different.
I agree with you. That's my favorite segment that we do.
So, Matt, welcome to, did I say his name? Did I say Matt Clark? Did I say
you did? Clark the Shark? Matty Cheese Patty? The legend?
You have all kinds of names for people.
This guy's good,
He's got a name for everybody.
He really does.
Sure. Those guys in maintenance work hard. We got another one here.
He also happens to be, since you mentioned that, now logistics supervisor here in our maintenance department on campus. And so we'll talk to him about that too. But I'm even more interested in the alumni connection and how you got here, when you decided to come, all those thoughts, what happened to you while you were here, and what you've done since, obviously, that's led you to come back.
So in my past career history, I was a machinist for about 8 years. I'd gotten laid off from a mom and pop shop, one of the last places that I applied to, and I was coming back to Lewis and Clark for IT classes. And we don't have class here on Friday, so it's just Monday through Thursday. And on Fridays, I think every other Friday at the time, I was going over to Cody's house and I was babysitting his daughter. And so one day late when Cody got home, he was like, "Hey man," he's like, "I need you to apply and be a general maintenance tech at Lewis and Clark." And I was like, I just finished, 1 of 2 years going back to school for IT. I was like, I don't know. He's like, "Look, we're desperate for good people. You're obviously mechanically inclined. I need you to apply for this."
We had like 5 guys at the time.
I wanted 5 guys.
Like, that's not a lie.
I want to
like
know.
5 of us.
Here's the first thing that pops into my mind. I want to know what qualities you saw in Matt as a babysitter that would fit in well with the maintenance department, because they're, it seems like 2 totally different worlds to me.
Well, you got plumbing leaks. And you can you can handle people well. You're great at changing diapers and holding people's hands. So it sounds like a perfect logistics, gen tech, maintenance guy.
That's pretty much the entire
he's
listing there.
So you just checked off all the boxes.
Got checked up. And what did he say? He said it was late when Cody got home one time, so you're able to stay long hours if needed, all around the clock.
That is for sure.
Okay, I was just curious. I'm trying to put the connection together then. So, I mean, obviously it's worked.
I just known him for a while, and plus work ethic, right? So this is a person that volunteered, and I knew him before working as a machinist. But when you really start seeing is those once, twice a month when you got to work a shift as a volunteer in a hockey league, and you have to show up at 9 o'clock in the morning and you don't get done till 1, 2 in the morning, and you don't ask for anything. You just run through 300 players, and imagine it's hockey. And you know how adult leagues are now. So everybody's complaining, everybody's this, everybody's that. And you're trying to make it an event, kind of like what we do. So here you have, there's 2 people, Amanda Edwards now, and him ran every night on Saturdays from 9 a.m. to almost 1 in the morning, ran the ops box. That's announcing, stats, the music, all of this stuff.
Yeah, I'm a big sports guy. I don't know if you knew that or not.
I kind of thought.
Go sports. Yeah. So the work ethic's there in the background, and plus, like I said, these days we're probably looking for quality people, right? To be there, I'd say that's the work world these days, and you want to snatch them up when you find them. That's what we're trying to do, anyways, in the competitive world of hiring, I'd say. So, and this was, what is this? 2 years ago now?
Yeah, I'm coming up on in February. I would.
Man, that's like yesterday. That's crazy.
It feels a lot longer than that.
I know.
So take me back to your days here in class, and you'd mentioned IT. What was your thinking behind that? Is that something you'd always liked? Have you always been kind of techie, or just wanted to see branch out and discover something new? What was your thought process?
I spend a lot of my free time messing around on my computer. I've built computers. I like trying to learn how to code and do some stuff like that. So I figured getting into IT, I wasn't sure what kind of branch or what direction I wanted to go in. I knew that we offered classes here at Lewis and Clark, and being as close as I am, that kind of seemed like a perfect place to come back to.
And what about your experience while you were here? Fond memories?
So it was, it wasn't bad. It was different because there was a lot of blend classes. So some of them were online, some were like Zoom, and I'd have 1 or 2 in-person classes.
So would this have been like right on the heels of COVID?
It was right after.
Okay.
Yeah. Yep.
I didn't mean to interrupt, but that's kind of when all of that really jumped into high gear.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. So it was a very different outtake on going back to school, because it had been 8, 9, almost 10 years since I was going to school. So fortunately, my wife was able to take on the burden to allow me to go back to school. So it was interesting.
And did you finish that program, or did other opportunities come along that took you back out of school then? Or
I was about halfway through, and that was when Cody had reached out. And Cody is one of those guys where
persistent.
But Cody is a quality human being. He's a fantastic.
That's a good compliment.
That's almost like me being relevant. Yeah.
Cody has one of those qualities where I don't know. You just want to be around him. Like, he just admits this.
I could tell you what he admits, but
we gotta get off me. I'm getting embarrassed here. So let's get back to. Okay, so basically you finished that, but then the opportunity came to apply for the Gen Tech, which then jumped you into your maintenance role now. So that's kind of like why I'd say me and Jeff love this segment, is the fact of LC grabs a person, and then we find out what they're doing now, as LC was part of their past. So I guess talk about that, like right after that, and you're focused on this IT, but then there's this opportunity here, and now you're pretty much living here.
Yes.
Which I can tell you love.
I just applied to be a general maintenance guy. If there was anything that I didn't know at the time, Cody told me that the team would, kind of pick up and show me how to do things. So I wasn't too worried about it. I got stuck with a gentleman named Gary Snyder, great guy. He was my partner for about
Get off the Snide, alumni too.
Yeah.
94, 95 baseball player. We should have him on it. Yep. Shout out Gary Snyder.
But he was a great partner, enjoyed working with him. And then Cody was kind of transitioning into more and more of being the athletic director, which obviously was going to leave a hole in maintenance for the logistic supervisor. I talked with the rest of the team because I was the new guy, and I was like, hey, if somebody doesn't go for this position, I'm going to try and apply for it because I don't want somebody else to come in from the outside, kind of shake things up, because the culture that we have in maintenance is phenomenal. It's great. Everybody works together. Nobody argues. Anybody can go with any other partner and get things done, and it's a really good team atmosphere in maintenance. And so nobody else wanted the position. So me being 5 months into Lewis and Clark, 5 or 6 months, I had applied for it, sat through the interview, which...
Didn't sit through it. One of the greatest interviews I've ever been a part of. I could not believe this. I mean, the list of the questions that you have, all the credentials and everything else? And they said, oh, tell me about yourself. He went through the list with examples.
Had you given him the test?
Everybody gets it. It's a job description. Like, it's just whatever. And he gives, and I'm like,
you had nothing left to ask.
I had never seen a person and all that do that. Like, take what we have posted, go through every line, and just was the introduction of literally, and this is why, and this is what I did, and this is how I did. Now, I mean, like, literally, he's a gen tech, so like he's done, and the way that culture is, he talked about, is we're all helping one another, right? Because there's only a limit at that time. There's probably, 15 now? So at that time, there's maybe half of that.
Yeah.
Because we're retooling
10 to 12.
everything. Yeah. So, I mean, it was unreal. I mean, it was like an ultimate thing of, I had never seen a person take a job description off there and just.
So he goes through his introduction and you go, next.
I mean, literally, I was like, well, okay, my questions that's supposed to be my part.
That's pretty much how the entire table was. Because I got in there, obviously everybody
So you
knew
did
me.
your homework.
Oh.
Well, so yeah. So, I had the job description, and it has KMEs, key measurable expectations.
Measurable expectations, yeah.
And there was literally maybe 20 or so on there, and I was like, all right, listen, at the very beginning, I was like, I'm just going to run through these. If you guys have any questions at the end, like I was comfortable.
So it's kind of like you were giving them the test, is what you're saying.
I mean, he owned it.
Sort of. So I ran through each one, and I was like, this is how I do this now. This is what we do. This is how this gets done. This is why. And I ran through all of them. And I felt good after it. I knew that there was at least another one outside external interview. So I don't know. I felt pretty good whenever I left that room.
It was impressive. So, and it's good. I mean, tell us about just now, like how every day is.
Long. I try to get here at 6 a.m, and I don't leave until about 4 o'clock if I'm lucky.
And every day is probably different, I would think.
Every day is different. I do try to. We have different teams in maintenance, so we have.
Oh yeah, talk about this. This is good.
This was, I believe, you probably started this.
I'm not gonna take any credit. Go ahead.
You guys have all these inside stories going on that.
Well, I want people to know,
because
here's what was cool with the retool of maintenance was we took brand, okay, and we brought that into the maintenance, right? So we have different colors in our brand. So we rebranded, and every department, every team should really do it. We all are, per Dr. T, we're attached to the strategic plan. So that is part of branding and marketing and all these things in our message, and that's what you should use. So in that breakdown, when we only had 5 people and you're retooling, that's how the rebrand of maintenance was so impressive, because it started straight from there. And go ahead, talk about the team.
So the teams kind of correspond with our Maintain X, the firmware that we use for our work orders that we get in. So the work orders come in, they get seen first by Wolf, my boss, myself as campus logistics supervisor, and Corey, who's our building maintenance supervisor. And so whenever any of the 3 of us are looking at them, depending on what the work order entails, we assign it to a specific team or specific teams. So we have Team Black Postal, which is anything post office or delivery related. We also have a Team Black Logistics, which is a thing that I'm a big part of, and that's like office moves and setting up events and anything kind of along that nature. We have a team locksmith. Anytime we have issues with doors, locks, keys, key cards. Then we have team blue, which is coincidentally, they control anything related to our pool in the Hathaway building. He's also in charge. Him and Corey, I believe, are the two on that team. Anything related to our dental, because we had sent, I had actually went before I was the supervisor. Me and Gary and I had gone and done a dental training out in Oregon, I believe it was. That was a great time. It was a fun thing. School had paid for it, or the company had paid for it. And I mean, it was neat to sit out there and talk with somebody. It was kind of like a closed session. It was kind of like a 1-on-2, because it was Gary and myself. But this gentleman had walked us through every aspect and every feature on all these dental chairs. And we didn't at the time have the chairs, but they were coming shortly after we'd returned. So we have the dental chairs now, and knowing what we know, I mean, it's kind of easy to go in there and be like, okay, well, this is wrong. We know how to fix it. It's this. So that's team blue. Team white, it's kind of more of like a general maintenance thing. If we've got an issue with like light fixtures or toilets or light fixtures or toilets, any kind of general maintenance needs, that's kind of like a general team. Then we have Team Gray. Team Gray is Stan Sneed and Kevin Millsap. They are our satellite campus guys, so they go around to all of our different campuses out in like Edwardsville, Bethalto, Harlanville, Scottsdale that we have here in Alton, and incorrect, yes.
You just want to just take over and
I'm just helping him out.
He is helping me out.
Cheat sheet.
But they're responsible for any kind of work orders that we have out at those facilities.
I'm proud of the maintenance guy.
So which team is the complaint department?
That would be our HVAC team, Team Sunglow.
They're
Mike
the specialty guys.
He's our head of HR in maintenance.
Shout out Lucas.
Any complaints go to that gentleman, and he handles them flawlessly.
Yeah. Well, I know you guys do a great job when it comes to the room setups and things like that, because as the campus coordinator, I get to funnel you a lot of different opportunities.
Good job.
That's what I call them. To use your skills.
That's good, Jeff.
To make sure that the folks that come on campus for events have everything that they need when they get here. So we certainly see the work of that team quite a bit, but I don't I don't get to see a lot of all the other stuff that goes on, but I guess so. As logistics, you kind of have to be able to pop in anywhere that you might be needed, based on what skills that you can add to whatever the scenario is.
Yep. Yeah, I got to be pretty flexible. I try and, with the exception of Team Gray, because I don't go off campus a whole lot.
And you probably stay away from the complaint department as much as possible, I'm guessing.
I do my best, but I do try to hang out with each different team and make sure that everybody's kind of on the same page and in check. And if there's anything that I can do specifically to help that team, I try to go out of my way and make sure that gets taken care of.
So I'm just curious, just a rough number, and maybe you don't even know, but guess how many work orders a year?
That's a good question.
Do you think might come across the desk of? I know you said that Wolf, the guy who leads the Wolf of Viverka, the guy who leads the whole department. How many of those would he see? Let's say that if he were to get them all, how many do you think that is?
Oh man.
I mean, it's not like you just come in and you have one work order in a day and you spend the whole day on that.
Absolutely not. And I mean, for every work order we complete, I'd say we get at least 2 or 3 more. And I mean, they're coming every day. I remember one time as I was looking through, in just the week prior, we completed like 217 work orders, and that's just in 1 week. And so, I mean, imagine we probably get at least that 217, maybe plus another, at least half of that, 100.
Well, and that was the other thing I was going to ask, that, making sure that folks know what the correct procedure is. It's really not pick up the phone and call Matt and say, hey, can I get you to run over and get me a table and this or that and bring it over to the I mean, the correct way is to fill out the work order, send it along, not wait till the last minute. Try to be
preferably,
better in your planning. to make everything go smoothly. But I'm sure you can't avoid that, and I imagine you do still get a lot of those types of requests as well.
Yeah, and I mean, there's like that. I'd say there's 15-20% that just, I don't want to say go undocumented, but people reach out, send you an email or a text personally or a phone call, like you said, and they're like, hey, is there anything we can do for this? Or do you have time to maybe come over and check this out? And I mean, anybody on the team they're willing to do that. But I mean, the correct route, obviously, it would be to go through the portal or Maintain X and submit a work order, but that's not always the case. We do try to document our best, everything that people ask of us and that we take care of.
So I don't want to interrupt. Were you getting ready to say something, or I've got another question if not, but.
No, I might want to end with this one.
Okay. So I'll let you wait then.
Yeah, go ahead.
So you've been almost 2 years now. What's the biggest challenge?
Dang it.
That was going to be yours?
Well, no,
okay,
it was going to be the 3. Hey, can you name the 3 most frustrating things?
I wasn't going to say frustrating. I was just going to say like campus loses, power goes out in 2 weeks, we're down because
that's happened.
That's a big deal. That's a huge
everything.
thing.
If it can happen, it's happened.
But I was just curious, in your mind, what are like some of the significant challenges that are like, whoa, this is a lot bigger than just the toilet's not flushing. This is like the whole campus doesn't have power. It's a much bigger, and sometimes those things just happen, and then you don't often get warnings. It just happens, and sometimes it happens on Saturday morning or Friday night, or times when you normally wouldn't be here, and then all of a sudden you are, and not you, but just anybody else on the crew that also has to, jump in and all of a sudden show up and be ready to go. So when those things happen, what are some of those that have been more memorable in the time that you've been here?
Definitely, I would have to start off with the contractor that came through and cut right through a main power line. And there were kind of like some telltale signs leading up to it, because I don't know if you've ever heard of the term brownout, but it's kind of like where one large place or building starts to slowly lose power over time. And that was kind of happening. Like you could walk through certain buildings and there were some, like the entire hallway of lights would be flickering, or a sign on the outside of the building is like it's active one day or 1 hour, and then it just kind of slowly is starting to flicker and lose power. And you kind of notice, and then you're like, is it something going wrong, catastrophically wrong, or is it just, another day or another issue? But that was that's definitely going to be a day that I never forget, because at that time, I don't remember I don't think I was supervisor at that time.
I think it was transition time.
Probably. It was
because I was still, when it happened, I was down. So it was like 100. It was 100 degrees outside.
So it's like, Matt, welcome to the to the news.
Here we go. And so at that time, I would have been working with Gary, and we were taking care of the pool. And when the power got cut across campus, pumps and whatnot were failing. So the entire pool that's over in Hathaway, almost an Olympic-sized pool, is now back draining down and into the basement. Oh yeah, where we have. Yeah. I mean, there wasn't, I'm lucky that I thought of it, because we have a bunch of water heaters, and there's a bunch of very expensive equipment down there. And as it's flooding down there, I mean, we did have I don't want to call it a sewer system, but something kind of along those lines. But at a certain point, when it was starting to really drain, I mean, it got back, it was full. There was nowhere else for the water to go. So I reached out, got some extension cords. We brought over a portable generator, ran extension cord downstairs to a couple sump pumps, and luckily we were able to pump water out almost as quick as it was coming in, so we didn't have anything too catastrophic happen.
Ooh. Do you find that usually the crew is able to make whatever fixes are needed? I mean, obviously there are some things that are so big they have to be farmed out to contractors on the outside, but are you guys, generally speaking, able to handle the type of routine fixes that pop up every day?
Absolutely. I'd probably say 70% out of the work orders we do are reactive maintenance, where something has gone wrong. We're trying to get a little bit more ahead of that and get to preventative maintenance to obviously prevent those problems from happening. But all these buildings here on campus are just so old, and a lot of times when we want to try and I don't want to say update.
Historic.
Fix things.
Historic is the right word. Not
that is the right. That is the right words. But we have to go through an architect company to say, hey, it's okay for you guys to do this.
Well, that's true. There's a lot of things you can't touch.
There is a lot of
different registries and things like that.
There's a lot of red tape on stuff like that we can't fix. And I mean, it kind of, I don't want to say it makes us look bad, but some people see that kind of stuff and they're like, well, why haven't they got around to fixing that yet? And it's like, we want to, we can't. Our hands are tied.
Yep. I think you already answered let's just go 1 and 1. Most frustrating part of the job.
That's a good one.
Remember you're on air.
Sometimes
you should have done this like the interview and given him the pre-questions. So
that would have been good. I'd say something that's frustrating to me personally is I feel like there's just some days that you come in, no matter what it is that you do, there's just not enough hours in the day to feel like you've accomplished anything.
Best part of the job.
Best part of the job? I get to work next to the AD.
No. Don't be telling too many people.
No, this is one of the first jobs that I've had because, like I said, I was a machinist in my past career. This is a place where you can come in every day and it's something different, and you're working with friends. Just the atmosphere. I mean, it's crazy. The culture here is phenomenal. It's never been to a place like this. And I'm really glad that I got to be hired on as a gym tech. I'm glad that I stopped going to classes to come work at Lewis and Clark because, I mean, it's a great place to work. It can be frustrating, but, I mean, it's awesome.
I think we should bring him out on that.
You finished?
I'm finished.
Okay, I want to make sure you got everything you wanted to.
I got it.
Okay.
You taking us out, Matt?
Yes, sir.
Thanks before
jump the gun. That's why we have a countdown, producer O. That's why we have a countdown.
So sorry.
I was just going to thank him for being on our program.
He's thanked every day.
So now that we've done that, now you can take us out.
I'm glad to be here. Thank you. We are
LC A to Z.